volleyball gets underway with Rebecca and Brazil playing from right to left. Brazil in their colours of gold and blue. And the first point of this final goes the way of the USA.
What we see there from the USA is a statement of intent with the speed of the play that they release URANGO to the stick.
So that was it. Carol Horta, a little pokey from Fernanda, gives the USA a chance to get a second point, and Reeves finds the kill cross court. Just the start USA required.
Honestly, completely contrasting performance to what we saw earlier in the week. They're playing so quick, moving the blockers around, and bosh, they're in the game.
Again, they go to Carol Horta, who then comes to take on the hitting duties.
So early signs that Brazil are playing a much slower ball, one-on-one in the offense in the block.
Here is Barbara. Goes to Rango. Over by Cook, touched by Carol Horta. So they're not sure which way it goes. And they're saying it's not touched. It's gone to the US, it's gone to Brazil. Wow, first referee got no help from his line judges there.
Tough decisions. Big pressure, first ever ANOC World Beach Games. It's not only the players that'll be feeling the heat.
Reeves with the set, Hartong down the middle, off for Fernanda. Here goes Carol Horta, gets the net core, which allows Hartong to set, but Carol Horta makes the block.
Great blocking from Carol Horta. They're still trying to play quite quick out of system, the USA. You can see what they're trying to do, but it just means there's not as many angles open to spike it.
Yeah, just catches the outside of the line from URANGO.
She played in all just 3 matches for USC, recorded 40 aces in one season as well, and she served really well throughout this competition. Brazil playing slightly high in the middle, but Fernanda hits both ways, and as well as she can see have a good look at the court, she'll be fine.
Good hand from Rebecca. Carol Horta goes over on the third touch. Hartong down the middle, and there's Fernanda and Carol Horta tag teaming. Double team, 5-3 Brazil.
Great blocking from Brazil. Again, the pass is in so quick. They're trying to rush the plays, USA, to move the block a bit. Hartong's only going one way there.
Carol Horta, it's wild.
Where are you, USA fans? Come on, USA!
Carol Horta. Point to the USA, 5-all.
Said it was going to be slightly closer here. Brazil very much playing the same way as they played throughout the competition. They're playing with width, but they're playing with height as well, which just give that defense a bit more time to set up. But the USA, it's a completely different side to what we witnessed earlier on in the competition. More use of the middle, more speed to the outsides, and that's going to put the big blockers from Brazil under some pressure.
Oh, what a get that is from Barbara. Quite brilliant. And then Rebecca showing her athleticism. Barbara comes through the middle. Reeves. Cook with the set. Here comes Hartong on the diagonal. Touched. But how about that from Barbara in the backcourt?
Barbara, Olympic silver medalist, world champion. She's reading the game before it's even happened, making touches. USA staying high. the balance for Brazil is really strong. It's just how often will they use Barbara in their offense?
Block is in, and USA are in front.
You can see here, Hartong's not even worried about Barbara on the right side. She's just squeezing to the middle. Barbara has to get more involved in the game here to try and make Hartong push out more to the left side and get more involved into the blocking.
Here she is on cue. Here comes Hartong now. Oh, Rebecca, brilliant. That's not going to go over, I'm afraid, because there was a touch at the net. That's why Fernanda catches the ball.
And although Brazil might have not killed that ball through Barbara, it's just going to make the USA think a little bit more about their own structure and block defense.
And again, they go to Barbara, who has to adjust. Good get from URANGO. Cook with the set. Here comes Reeves on the diagonal. She goes cute. And it's 9-6 USA.
Brazil is suffering here because they're passing off the net. So Barbara's really late to getting out on the ball. She's not facing the cross-court. Continuation play, and the USA off a free ball. You just back them at the moment.
Well, Brazil forced into a timeout because they're under pressure here. And Leticia de Marina Pessoa has some work to do here.
Offensively at the moment, the USA, we've said this before, just look more balanced through the middle. Now that Hartong's playing that quicker role, with the outside, URANGO on one side, Reeves on the other, they can really balance out the amount of sets that they use those hitters through, where Brazil already are looking to go to Fernanda a high percentage of the time. Carol is second on the stats will tell us all, I'm sure. And then Barbara will be your third spiker, but it has to be more balanced than that to try and stress out the Americans in their block defense.
Yeah, Fernanda 4, Carol HORTA 3. Barbara's had 3, but they will be the last 3.
Yeah, they fed her because they're desperate to try and get her in the game.
Yeah. Whereas the States, you Cook 2, URANGO 2, Hartong 6, Reeves 3.
And Hartong's playing through that middle area, which is difficult for Brazil to manage at the moment. That's been the one big thing in the four-a-side volleyball, is that middle position. You have a half-decent middle spiker, and you're completely in the game.
Oh, Carol HORTA from a long way off the net finds the kill, going deep down the middle.
They've brought some stars, haven't they, Brazil? You think the USA had a great season internationally? Kerry Walsh-Jennings still playing, Brooke Sweat still having a great season with Kerry Walsh-Jennings, 3-time Olympic gold medalist. And April Ross and Alex Kleinman, second
touch on the net
at the World Championships.
There is Cook. Serve short to Carol HORTA. HORTA down the middle. And the block. A combination between Cook and Hartong makes it 7-11. And Brazil behind at the side switch for the first time.
They're doing their homework, the USA. They're serving the middle player, Fernanda, and then she's struggling to get out. And really, that's a sign that Rebecca, showing that she's not an indoor setter. An indoor setter would probably shift that ball away from the person that's been setting it, try and make the blockers move. Instead, she keeps the play really crammed up and the blockers successful.
Again, they keep it tight. URANGO's on the diagonal. Just a bit wild from Cook.
Good serving. The USA are really trying to put Fernanda under pressure with the pass to take her out of the attack. Whether they set her and she's out of rhythm, or whether Rebecca has to go to another option, as we just spoke about. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but it's certainly working the game plan from the USA.
Chance here, Carol HORTA. This has got to go over. There's been 2 touches, and it's long from Hartong. Good leave. Barbara. Goes to Reeves. Of course, it comes to URANGO off the block.
again, the more indoor type of volleyball and systems that the USA adapt here, the more successful they're being. It's the same in the men's. Wide, fast, quick, off the hands.
Orango goes to Carol Horta. And then Carol Horta has to get herself back up. Good block from Cook.
Sets too tight here from Rebecca. Brings a blocker right into the game. Really disciplined inside hand.
Can they serve to one of the two hitters? Now they come to Barbara. And the cross court. Spieler's there. Reeves is there, sorry. Here is Reeves again. Cook. Reeves a little pokey. Rebecca. And finds herself in the hitting role, Rebecca. USA won't mind that. Now Rebecca can set. She back sets for Fernanda. Cross court. Good get from Reeves. Hartong at the joust. She's there again. Second time of asking for Fernanda. But Brazil need 2 or 3 goes at this, which they haven't had previously.
The difference between two sides, certainly Brazil are playing slower, so it gives time for the USA to set up. So that's why they're relying on Fernanda so heavily with her height, their angles. With that same height, the smaller spikers are going to struggle here.
Yeah, neatly done. That's a really good 2-ball over. Back set, Barbara coming in. Reeves, unlucky from Cook. Does well to duck under the net and keep going.
Positioning here from Reeves is spot on, just on the edge of the block, parking still. It's just a bit too heavy with Barbara's left hand taking it away from Reeves.
Good blocking, Cook again. And that's a real bonus for the USA because the initial touch from them off the serve was heavy and the advantage swung to Brazil. Reeves. Barbara, Rebecca, Carol Horta. That's more the order that Brazil wanted in.
Brazil just trying to tool off the hands this time, something the USA have done delightfully well this evening. Just play quick, make the block drift and go off the hands.
And they drop it short to Orango. Barbara sets for Rebecca. Rebecca rolls it. Orango comes forward. Back set from Cook. Reeves goes cross court. Good defense from Rebecca. Barbara with the set to her partner Fernanda. And it's like a pinball around the back of the USA, but it comes over the net. Cross court. Orango. Cook! Wow, that's called hanging in the point from the USA and pouncing when it matters.
2 bits of outrageous defense from Urango. Just hit, just leaning with her body, tracking the hitter, watching everything through the arm. Earlier on made a wonderful touch off a slower pace ball as well.
Hartong goes cross court. 17-12 here, USA.
It's an absolute sign of how much the USA have improved throughout this competition, how they've problem solved, managed their mistakes, and they're playing a totally different system to when these two teams played earlier on in the week, and the score's completely different as well.
Fernanda, well, Reeves has to get out of the way. Chance here for Cook, she goes down the middle. Oh, the body language in that Brazil outfit does not look good at all. There's stares at each other, they're looking away from each other.
It's fascinating at the moment for Brazil.
Oh, we don't get the look, sorry.
Only 2 teams can go to the Olympic Games, and in January that cut-off point is done for them. So they're actually all competing against each other for Olympic points at the moment, but for this competition, they've been brought together to try and win together as a team.
And there's a change. Juliana's on in place of Carol Horta.
Absolute legend of the game, Juliana. Self and Karissa.
Reeves, an inspired form in the backcourt. Advantage perhaps USA. Urango with the set. Here comes Cook. Oh, she just gets her angles wrong.
Turkey 13, USA 18.
There you go. Juliana, the most experienced person there, laying down what she feels needs to happen.
She's coming in as a blocker, starting in the centre as well, so she's going to have to do quite a lot of work here, Juliana, but she's coming in to steady the ship. So many duels through the years with Misty Mary Traynor and Kerry Walsh-Jennings with Larissa Franca.
Oh, Juliana can't block that, and the USA are 2 points away from the opening set.
Gold medal match.
It's been so far so good for them. It's been simple. They've played indoor volleyball on the beach. It's certainly working out for them.
Juliana off the block.
You have to love about Juliana. She's played hundreds of World Tour events, Olympic Games. She still just wanted so much out there.
And there goes Urango, and here are 6 set points for the USA. Brazil haven't conceded more than 18 points in a set. They're about to drop a set.
Decision making on the wing from Fernanda. She knows it's tight. She has to wipe off the hands. Rebecca not quite getting her feet around the ball. She takes it early and then she over-rotates it onto the net. Good from Fernanda though.
Back set. Here comes Reeves. Little pokey shot. Good work from Juliana to get down. Urango to Cook. Cook with the back set again. Reeves goes cross court. It's too long. No touch.
Gradually just sending a message here, Brazil. Whether it's enough to win this opening set, who knows? But just sending a message that they're here to dig their heels in. They're here to push back against what's been a almost perfect first set display from the USA.
Reeves, the recipient of the serve. Cross court for Urango, and that is the first set at the third time of asking. USA a set to the good, 21-16, and that is the first set Brazil have lost here in Doha. And what does that mean for this gold medal match?
The USA at this moment in time look unbreakable because their first pass is completely insistent. The experience of Cook setting, moving the ball around, and Geena Urango's had a fantastic first set. Indoor volleyball on the beach, brushing Brazil apart. Brazil playing much slower, finding it much more difficult to initiate themselves on the game, and the score is as follows.
So the USA draw first blood. They've taken the opening set, 21-16. Well, Phil Noyes will be delighted with the way that his side had gone about that opening set. Fantastic venue here at Katara Beach. Packed house for the final day of action. Helped somewhat by the fact the Qatar men are in the men's final.
Well, we have a packed evening in front of us. Sharif and his team. Sharif, top 15 in the world on the FIB World Tour, but they're against a team of superstars from the USA. That's coming next. So much action. It's such an exciting sport, the fours concept. Starting to get quicker every day. The offenses, teams are just learning how to play the game. Brazil have, for me, a lot of work to do here because the USA are organised, they're efficient, and they're playing great volleyball.
Is there a case maybe a little bit of complacency by Brazil at the start of that game, having basically thrashed the USA in the group stage? They thought, well, you know, yeah, okay, they're going to play better, but, you know, we just carry on as we're going and we'll be okay.
Maybe a little bit of complacency, but maybe through the way that they haven't changed the way they've played the whole way through the competition, maybe because it hasn't been broke.
Yeah,
so don't fix it. They've gone through Fernanda the whole way through the competition. The USA, though, have completely changed the way that they're playing. And their system, for myself anyway, some people watching may disagree, completely suits this concept of the game. It's quick, it's exciting, they're working off the hands, they're working different areas of court, it's balanced through the spikers, and boom, you take Brazil 21-16.
Talk to your point here, Cook has 8 attacks so far. That equals the most she's had in any match to this point. URANGO has 7, that's the second most she's had in a set. HARTONG 13, so she's not quite up there just yet, and REEVES 7, so they're certainly sharing it around.
And the wonderful thing about using HARTONG so much through that middle area is that it holds the blocker. As you can see there, they use the middle, HARTONG scores, but if you look at the middle blocker Fernanda, she's always pressing into the court. So that means when Cook goes to the right sider, she's got no block. So that's how it all links together, is the more they can use HARTONG through that middle area, the more that it's going to be easier for the outside spikers. It's fascinating because you can see the two contrasting styles against each other now.
So 2-1 Brazil. Crunched. Rebecca can just palm it into the sand.
URANGO's having a field day over on the left side, and that's again, long distances make it difficult for the blockers. The ball's moving quicker than the feet of the Brazilian blockers.
Fernanda down the middle.
This is Brazil playing their beach game almost in four side, which is higher, trying to show one thing, hit another, or trying to hit sharp angles.
Touch on the net, HORTA.
It's very close, but you already feel like it's a long way back here for Brazil because of the statement of intent from the US in the opener.
Good get, good dig from Rebecca. Now, can Fernanda finish off? No, she can't. And the USA in front.
This time Fernanda from the right side, the ball just drops inside, so it's difficult for her to maintain her height.
REEVES goes to HORTA, who then picks herself up to find the kill past the block of Cook.
It's better from Brazil. Wider, flatter play, making it more difficult for the blockers to get their line to look through the net.
Serve goes to URANGO. Yeah, unlucky.
Flat serve straight down the line. It's a tough angle to pass on that in the first place. Just gets pinned quite high. Not much space in between her
high up the left arm. Fernanda, too much.
It's been very silent in here.
Yes, it's absolutely packed. There's not a spare seat in the house. Who could have thought so many people could be so quiet? Good block from HARTONG.
Especially if you view the world from our perspective. HARTONG's just reading the body line there and making really good moves. She's really doing a lot of work in there. Now she's pressing out to the outside.
And again.
2 in a row, and the way she can move across the face of the net and create shapes in her arms based on what her eyes tell her, and then finish back into the center of court. That's some work. She goes to the middle first time, she blocks on the outside.
3 blocks for HARTONG, 2 in quick succession, make that 3 in quick succession.
Her blocking is being incredible here, but she's reading Rebecca. She can see the body language. She knows where she's going to go. Rebecca's dropping her hands when she goes on the back set. She's slightly slower when she comes into the middle. HARTONG's holding her position based on what she sees from Rebecca. Unbelievable work.
And they forced another timeout, this time very early on in the set. Brazil trailing 5-8, and this is a, well, save a substitution, the last roll of the dice. The coach will get a chance to chat to the team at the side switch, but other than that, she's done.
Tá bom? Aí, o negócio é o seguinte, ponto a ponto, vibrando e sacar bem. Da outra coisa, a bola sobrou para uma levantar.
I think I've just realised why it's so quiet. We've lost our MC. That's why.
And he happens to be Brazilian.
He does.
So he's been quietened by the performance. He's done a very good job, hasn't he, the end?
He's had a good tournament.
He's had a great tournament, yeah. Don't know what he eats for breakfast, but it gives him lots of energy for the day, that's for sure.
So all those lights you can see there going back, they're all different courts, whether it be beach tennis, wrestling, basketball, you've got football the other way. But here in this gold medal match of the women's competition, the USA, 8-5 to the good and a set to the good. That's not off the block, that's not a block, that's off the net.
For me, there's 4 standout performers from the USA this evening, but Hartong's work through the middle can't go unnoticed.
Fernanda, Cook, onto the line. And this is a dejected looking Brazil side right now. They need to turn it around. They need to deal with this slump and deal with it quickly.
If there's a touch off the block there, she's taking so much initiative there, Cook, to get her feet inside the ball, pivot around and just hang it out to the back line.
Hartong almost channeling Barbara that way so Reeves can pick it up, and Reeves again. Reeves is having a blinder in the backcourt. She's setting herself perfectly.
Just perfect around the block. This should be a better view. Rebecca goes back to the middle, just sitting on the sideline. She's always in the right position, Reeves.
He's back, he's back.
He probably just needed the rest. It's been a long few days for him to keep up this energy. Different class.
So Cook goes to Carol Horta, Rebecca, Fernanda. They've gone back down the middle. And we have a point. It was 5-4 Brazil in this set.
Just let their foot off the gas. They've used Juliana through the middle. It might be the best place for her at the moment. There's just, again, Brazil don't look as balanced as the USA at the moment. Don't know how many times. And that's an indoor play on the beach. They're running a wider set in the middle. It's 2 or 3 meters, and it's to pierce the gap between the 2 blockers. And in an indoor game, you'd see the middle blocker throw their hands to their right-hand side to try and stop that channel. And Brazil haven't got that in their locker. So there's lots of thought going into this from Cook especially, who's just running the game. And that's an indoor play as well. You can't tip it. It's a harder hand. But they very much adopted the indoor game, and now they're dominating it.
Brazil haven't had questions to answer before in this tournament, and they're struggling to come up with the answers here. I'm not sure that's touch. That's more hope than expectation, I think, from Rebecca. She's just swung a hand at it. Well, who would have saw this coming? And you know you're in trouble when you're pulling Fernanda off.
Top scorer. See you later. And it means, actually, they've got a much smaller team straight away. I know it's quite easy to say that, but it means that they're going to have to play a bit quicker. They can't carry on playing slowly, but they do play really high.
That's why. And the wheels have well and truly fallen off the Brazil game.
100%. And it's, again, they're playing so high. They got away with this earlier on in the competition when you could. It was one of those competitions where everybody's trying to figure out the piece of the puzzle.
And that one's wide as well. It's a 10-point game. Well, even if Brazil go on a USA-style run of 7 unanswered points, it's not going to be enough to put them in front.
As we said at the start of the competition, the college background of these athletes really paying off here, playing indoor volleyball. In Brazil, their athletes are almost playing beach volleyball at such a young age, bump set spike, where the USA are going through an indoor program And they've come back to using those skills to be successful in the four-a-side game.
Serve to Orango. Cook with the set out wide. Reeves off the block for HORTA to go down. Juliana misses.
So huge from Juliana all the same. Just unloads on.
But the point is, it doesn't need to be at that angle. It doesn't need to be that hard, does it?
Take a bit of pace off the ball for sure.
Juliana will now go down the middle. Just checking that the point's going her way. It was out. She turns around to look at the first referee.
The middles of, well, the blockers are making such good reads off Rebecca. And it's again having an indoor setter in Cook out there. Karissa Cook, she's taking the ball slightly higher. She's slightly more deceptive, or she's much more deceptive in the way that she handles the ball. Her hands go through the ball to the outside, or they come back underneath the ball and through on the back set. And she's just holding the blockers slightly more because of her hands.
Long. And this is gone. This is gone. I don't think I've ever seen Brazil fall apart quite so quickly.
Might have seen a few the odd time, but not like this. I mean, caught cold, haven't they?
And sometimes that can be their Achilles heel. If they suddenly come under some pressure, they sometimes don't know how to answer the questions being asked of them. And this is a good example of that.
Yeah, they haven't changed much, have they? As we were saying in the previous set, throughout the competition, they played this wide, slow ball, which worked because every other team was playing up and down to start with, like in two-a-side. Whereas the USA, game by game, played quicker, wider, off the hands, through different zones. Very impressive from the USA. Very, very impressive this evening.
Good get from Reeves, and that's good work from Cook because she's given her team a chance of winning this point. Juliana down the middle, and there's another block, and here are 11 gold medal points.
Again, it's quite obvious for the blockers here. Enough time to get across, shut Juliana down.
Cook with the block. Barbara off Hartong. Over from Cook, HORTA, Rebecca, Juliana. Here's the block, and quite right. What a way. Cook, the captain, comes up with the block, and the USA have won the gold medal here in the women's 4x4. But they haven't just won the gold medal, they have dominated Brazil. And they have comfortably won this gold medal. The final score, 2 sets to love, 21-16, 21-9.
They've been phenomenal this evening, and they've improved game by game throughout the competition. But they've adopted this indoor style of play, which is completely and utterly working on the beach, running the middle, running quick to the sticks, and made it so difficult for a Brazilian team of beach volleyballing superstars, and certainly for the USA, their indoor pedigree playing through the NCAA at the top universities in the US, paying dividends.
We talked about how they changed their attack here. You look at the attack stats, you have Cook with 11 attacks, Orango with 10 attacks, Hartong 16, Reeves 11. They split it basically by quarters, and the Brazilian blockers didn't know where to go. You compare it to Brazil, 20 for Fernanda, 13 for Barbara, but that was a sort of a forced 13 because they had nowhere else to go. 13 for HORTA and 7 for Juliana, who was brought on because they had nothing else to do.
Exactly. The balance that Cook brings, having her mindset from Stanford, is a difference.